Oui, oui. Oui, oui. All right. Welcome, everyone. Therapy of the Absurd, New Year's special. Okay. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Sam is having doubts.
I'm
Sam?
having the on record.
the worst month in my life.
Oh,
37, 38 years, coming up on 38 years. This month has been, since December, everything has been upside down. But surprisingly, my mood has been fine through all of this. Like, I don't know how.
Oh.
Like, I've always loved this meme, but I've never related more to the dog sitting in the fire drinking the cup. Like, this is exactly my life. It's just like, instead of the dog, balding Middle Eastern with a beard.
oh, okay, okay.
Wow. All right, Sam. Mental fortitude, emotional awareness, and chaos
Therapy's
beyond
working.
measure. I'm sorry and I'm happy for you. Like, you'll probably be a guru, but like, damn. Hopefully this is
You
the worst of it.
that's the beauty of, I think, this country. What this country, what I was sold on, what this country is that here is a bunch of other cultures all together. Make a nice cocktail and live your life. So
Yeah.
I took some of like Islam stuff, some of AA stuff, put that together and made my own philosophy. And I was like, okay, great. Now I'm agnostic with both, best of both worlds.
Oh, there you go.
Join me,
Perfect.
guys.
Sounds so good. Yeah. That's how we all should well no, because that sounds real religious too, huh? Um, that's a pretty cool way to
No,
do things. I would
mhm.
also like to do things that way as well. And we all should do whatever we want to do.
I think that the best idea is that, and just the thing about it is that whatever is working for you is working for you, and just find the top good of that,
Mhm.
like and
Also
that's
Adderall. No.
uh,
Ooh, okay.
uh,
But get diagnosed for ADHD. That's really all I want to say. Like, really, it made a difference for me. I got
oh, okay.
diagnosed, like, I've aced the diagnosis twice now. Like, this time I was like, okay, I'll just take some medication, but it's way better.
Oh, okay.
For the ADHD, right?
For the ADHD. And here's the thing too, is I realized me trying to fix other things around the ADHD is stupid, because the
Mm,
ADHD is causing depression.
mm,
The
Mm.
ADHD is causing the negative self-talk that caused OCD.
mm.
The ADHD, OCD plus anxiety caused OCD plus depression caused anxiety. Like, it's just all together.
Yeah.
Are these things for me, like, am I cured? No, everything is just like, it's the same, but just at lesser intenser, like less intense. I'm talking too much. Just gotta shut up for now.
I don't know, Sam. I feel like your point of view is wonderful. Um, I always joke about how half of my family was religious and the other half is spiritual, and they all want to send me information. But like, like I got some pretty
Same here.
cool spiritual information, and it kind of is like you really do if you would like to not like lose your shit and get really sick or whatever the else is your coping mechanism.
Mhm.
Mm,
It really is useful to find something that
Yeah.
can help you detach a little bit from how the outcome is and just let it be. This is a shit show. I'll be okay regardless. I trust myself to
mm.
handle come what may.
No, you don't even need to trust yourself. You just
Hmm.
love yourself for
Okay.
that. That you can't change any of that.
Yeah.
And really, like, that little what you just said is basically what like 150 religions have been trying to say in different forms to different cultures in different language. It's really that. Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, Scientology, it's all saying that. But we're just like, no, I like this one because this one has Christmas and this one has Ramadan. So that's fine.
This one gives you cookies.
Exactly.
I love
So
cookies.
I'm I started a book on Audible, one of my favorite places to deal with books as of now. And it's called Atomic Habits.
Ooh.
And are you familiar, Sam? You're nodding like you're familiar with
I'm
the
familiar.
title.
Have I read the book?
And
No, but I'm familiar.
no, right, right. So James Clear, who and it's now number one on Audible. It has stayed in the top 10 New York Times bestseller. It's like best-selling around the world. And I'm actually starting over because I started it, and then between travel to Utah and different things, I kind of got interrupted. And I like the one thing about doing a book on Audible is to me the continuous part of it. Like it's not like I feel like if you drop it and pick it back up, there's a whole momentum, a listening momentum that's been lost for me. And because I a while ago in a certain period of study, I learned how to get what I need from the book / program and then really work with it. A lot of that success with any of those texts is predicated on that momentum and even just the habituation of making sure that I'm reading it every day, blah, blah, blah. But it's literally just saying that he talks about having been hit basically between the eyes, I think with a bat, like when he was playing baseball, like in middle or high school. And the only things that he wanted to do with his life was become a professional baseball player. And, while that didn't necessarily happen, he built a series of habits to rebuild himself, because once they got through the dark woods, which was the concussion and all the injury itself, he still went on to be a successful college student, still went on to be like top of class grades, but and physically still got to play ball even in college, not necessarily go on to pro, but still was able to restore. But everything that he built was on small habits every day. And so atomic, he reads off the definition of atomic, and it boils down to like the smallest unit of anything. I think a lot of times we hear the word atomic, and I know I typically go for atomic bomb, but if atomic is the actual adjective derived from the word atom, then atom is the smallest unit of anything. And so if you say atomic habits, you're not talking about bomb habits, you're talking about tiny habits. Like when my minister even mentioned the book, she's like, it's basically like he's explaining that if you're a person who doesn't floss and you want to start flossing, floss 1 tooth a day and stick with flossing 1 tooth a day until you can grow that habit. And so, but what's captivating, because I had also just finished Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself in a previous book, he talked about still having, to me, in your language, a growth mindset. So even if the habit that you're trying to build is not your habit yet, you still want to say that you find a way to say that I'm still this person. I'm a clean person, even if all about you is chaos, but I'm a clean person who's building clean. Like you work at, because ultimately the habits, they can flourish in that soil, on that foundation. But the goal is to start with the tiny habit, because for me, good habits are hard to build, bad habits are hard to break. But the work of building habits, because we can all have goals, which I have, but we don't. If I can get to the goal, I typically haven't built the habits to sustain whatever goal I meet. So I can get my apartment cleaned up, even if we hire a crew to come in. But if I don't have the habit of what it takes to sustain cleaning, then the goal won't matter. And then in the end, I still have to believe in myself just enough that wherever I am, whatever I see, that I'm maintaining the tiniest habit that moves me toward the goal and that keeps me toward the goal. And honestly, I feel like that's religion. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's religion. That's religion. Whether whatever, because y'all know I read a lot. Maybe you don't know, but I read a lot of books. I read a lot. I know the Bible well. I know a lot of books well, and I'm willing to dabble. But ultimately, it's just the fortitude to pick a tiny habit and believe that you can be that thing, and you do it in these very, very, very small steps.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Very
really
nice.
cool. I hope everybody wrote down the name of that book.
Atomic Habits, right?
By James
Yeah,
Clear.
like,
And I'm sorry, go. And he's
No, I
got a
was just
challenge.
saying,
He's got an email challenge.
It's New Year's. If you actually have a resolution, this is something that is it sounds so self-forgiving the way you explained it, Dana, which is a very gentle way to get into it. So, I mean, I'm excited that you shared that because I had no idea that book even existed.
Well, because
No,
ass
that's cool.
This is
whooping
why
hasn't
it's
really the ass
podcasts.
whooping hasn't really changed my life. So that's the only reason I'm gentle and forgiving, because ass whooping ain't changed nothing. We still a mess around here. We still not making our bed every day. We still, you know what I'm saying? So we're we're going this route.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta little steps and reprogram your brain.
Mhm.
Little bit at a time. You don't have to take a, a busload of stuff and then just ram it in there. Like, you're gonna get it.
Right.
It's
Because you
really
feel like garbage when you don't. Like if
Yeah.
I want to floss, but if I floss one day and I don't the next, I feel like shit, and it's hard to recover from that.
Yeah.
And based
so
on
that's it. Like,
everything you
the
just
problem
said,
is here.
Sam, all of
That's the
those
problem.
things.
It's
What?
yeah,
What's the problem?
we can sing about that all the time, but the thing is the key to this is to catch yourself when you're having a bad mental loop, a bad mental habit that you've created. So after you don't floss, what does Dana tell Dana inside of Dana?
2 days later,
Next day, you wake up the next day.
literally, you know what? I just say it's okay. Just try again. That's all I do, because
Yep.
I did
Oh, that's great.
cleanse.
That's exactly it.
I've had 2
My
cleanses. Go on, I'm sorry.
my default was, you're a loser, no one is gonna ever look at your profile.
Mhm.
Like, it's just like all of the nightmares that my that my like inner demons, you just take the wheel
Me too.
and fill the programming with propaganda. And OCD is me believing the propaganda for a while, like for a
Wow.
year. I'm just like, yeah, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Let me listen to
We
your
are our
crazy
own
thoughts
worst
and just
enemies.
believe all of the crazy shit you're saying about me.
Yeah.
So it's like I what I learned is, and I see this a lot with my friends too. They're struggling with the same issues that I'm struggling with, and you see like, oh yeah, it's after you get a failure, what do you tell yourself? It's when you make those patterns about, oh, this person didn't smile enough at me this time, so it must be that I made something wrong. I'm a terrible person, and all of these assumptions are based on nothing really. Like, and we have a lot of those. I wake up every day. I have anxiety too, so I wake up every day and be like, "What did I fuck up yesterday? Who's upset of me of something I said without thinking?" And I just like keep thinking. I've had texts that upset my entire day because, oh, I was joking about someone's dog and they said something back, and I was like, "Oh my god, they thought I offended their dog," and now like I'm
Oh
a terrible
no.
person.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they just didn't see their phone. That's really what happened.
No, I feel you, man. There's a lot of
Sam,
miscommunication or misinterpretation of things sometimes with people.
Sam, I go to a couple words, like when the negative self-talk has started, and I think we're in a pretty good place now because we worked so long. There are simple words for me. Like at my church, we have this thing, we just say "tain't so," and I have literally, like, so I'm sorry, it ain't so. It is not
Oh,
so.
it ain't so. I didn't hear.
Like, huh?
It ain't so. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So literally, I have been in times when I've sat in my car and, barring that I had to go to work or go inside wherever I was, I'll spar, because good always wins out. I will spar with the negative voice. And so tain't so. Now I can also, which is a whole nother thing, not for this broadcast. I go in and out of periods of being serious about meditation. I go in and out of periods of being serious about any type of quieting on a daily basis that will help. And even though I can't say that I've meditated all 365 days of any one year, I have gone through enough periods where I did meditate compared to where I didn't meditate. And meditation takes on the form of meditation, prayer, quiet time, calling Jesus's name when I argue about who Jesus is with most people. But I still, whatever the balm in Gilead is, I just do that thing until I'm elevated to do something higher. I do emotional freedom tapping. Some people have heard me talk about it. Like, so for me, I've just learned to be gentle because all of it's working, and the better it gets, the better it gets. But if I ever stop, that's when it stops getting better. So tain't so was a place I started. The Course in Miracles teaches I'm willing to see this differently. So those are the two statements, literally, that I'll say. I'm willing to see this differently. I'm willing to see this differently. and those and at least they break the tape of that voice of who's talking.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also, don't take yourself seriously. Like, remember to laugh when you hear some
Yes.
crazy. Yeah. Haha.
Oh no, you have to,
Right.
man. You have to. If you
Mm.
take it too seriously, like
Don't mind yourself, yeah.
you're gonna die of a heart attack at a really early age,
Mhm.
man. You know, it'll be that last outburst of frustration or anger.
Mhm.
That's it.
I was fighting with silverware. Like, oh my god, this fucking spoon doesn't want to go into the thing.
Yeah, man. No,
It's
no, I
crazy.
feel you, man. I'm putting away the dishes. I feel you. I feel you. I got my good news. I got my ESA letter today. For those who don't know what that is, that's an emotional support animal letter.
Yay.
Oh yeah, so that way I don't have to pay pet rent where I live, because where I live is like over $1,000
Oh, wow.
Of the pet rent?
for the. Oh, dude, it's
Why?
stupid as hell, man.
$1,000 a month just for pet rent.
No, that's just to get it in, and then I forget what they tack onto your rent. But if you have
Okay.
this or a service animal one, then they take away the fee completely.
Okay.
So I got the
Yay!
letter, and I'm happy I got the letter. But there was little, words in there I wasn't a little happy about. I'm just gonna say, like some of it is fine. It's fine, but he had something in there that just totally like, oh man, oh God, what did he say? Mental illness or something. And I was
Ooh.
like, man, I ain't mentally ill, sucker. I saw that and I was like, damn. So I showed it to my wife, because I asked her, I was like, does your, emotional support letter have that in there? She's like, no. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Wait,
Damn.
This fool
where'd you
thinks
go
I'm
apply?
crazy.
Is it like a minister? Like, where'd you go apply for that?
You got to go to your doctor, and then you
Okay.
have to explain to them that you have anxiety, and that your dog helps you with the anxiety, helps you focus, helps you go through your daily life, helps you communicate with other people, helps you in every way possible to stay focused and continue living. And
So clearly, this is your doctor's fault.
I know, huh? That bastard.
He's like, oh, he's mentally ill. Get him a dog. Jesus Christ.
Well,
Like,
he asked me, well, so what does the dog do for you? But then I started recalling all the stuff that I said to him. I'm like, where in there did he hear mental illness? I'm like, holy shit.
I'm curious what you said to him on another day.
It's got
I'm
me
curious.
paranoid. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't tell him that my dead mom was talking to me or something. I didn't say anything like that.
Well, then you would just be a medium.
Oh, thank you. That's what I'm
You
saying.
still wouldn't be mentally ill. You'd
right.
just be charging, $125 an hour.
But he graciously got it done, so that way, no matter where I move, I have that. And then eventually, either my daughter or me is going to get the service animal one. That one, it doesn't matter where you move, whether they accept pets or not. Because guess what? If you have the service animal, they gotta take you anyway.
Mhm.
The ESA letter, they can kind of fuck with you, but not the service animal one. So eventually, we're trying to get that one. But we're gonna start with the ESA letter. It's a victory. It's a small
It
victory.
is.
It's a victory nonetheless.
It's victory
I'm
nonetheless.
happy for
Right.
you.
Hey,
Well, I'm happy
congratulations.
too, but I don't know about that mental illness though, right? You know what I'm saying?
Release it. Release it.
Hey.
Release it.
Stefan, I don't think anybody could be born and raised in the United States in this culture and not be to some degree mentally ill
Okay.
in order to function here.
Okay.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
sane person can actually function in this society
I need my
without
dog
losing
right now
some of
to
their
live.
shit.
It teases up mental wellness issues. It teases up mental wellness issues for sure.
Yeah, our
For sure.
country is not built for mental health. It's not built for it is built for like issues. And chronic anxiety, all of that. And even just, living in America and knowing how we behave outside of America and still like chilling every day and putting that shit in the back of our mind, like that takes some degree of something that's gonna get you to need some therapy at some point.
Oh yeah, like
normalize.
Oh yeah, Oh,
all
yeah.
of this stuff, but it's a survival. So yeah, like Stefan, I will join you. I don't think anybody would disagree that I'm mentally ill.
Oh,
But I own it because at
yeah.
the end of the day, we all are
Oh
shit.
no, everybody's a little bit crazy in some form or some way. Like I was explaining to my daughter. My daughter, was going to school. She's like, I don't think everybody has any form of disability. I think people are just fine. I'm like, really? You think people? There's so much shit in the food and water and things that different generations of our family. Like my dad worked next to radioactive isotopes or some shit, and that actually really fucks your shit up. I mean, like
Mm.
when I say really fucks your shit up, like it alters your DNA.
Mhm. I can
you
only
know,
imagine this country is not, it's not about humanity. One of the
unfortunately, yeah.
things, I was doing sorry about that. A text came through. I was doing a mic at Fourth Wall,
Oh,
15-minute
nice.
mic, and there was a mom, and I think she said her son was either 3 or 5, and she was just like, she's like, I'm just worried because I don't want him to end up having special needs, and it's just something that they make you worry about. And when I got to the stage, I said, listen, girl, I said, I've been a mother and I've been a teacher. Everybody has special needs without exception.
Mhm.
Everybody. There
Mhm.
are all there is just these cutoff lines that say, in this particular group, we see a generalized pattern for which we need a larger, more regular set of support.
Yep.
Everybody else, to me, is just steps away from that line, just enough that it means that if you need extra test help, I don't have to give it to you, but I honestly think you need it. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Oh
that
yeah.
is.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. That's the thing. I think because of that, there's a lot of parents who, whether it be their pride or their ego, my child doesn't need any help. My child is just fine. It's completely normal. My dad forever was in denial that I had a slight disability. So,
Mhm.
math
Mhm.
homework with dad was like a contact sport.
Wow.
You don't know the answer. Arr! Now
Mhm.
do you know the answer? No. Arr!
Wow.
Right. 2 plus 2 is
Damn.
5, goddammit. Ah. But because he was in denial, and that's,
Mhm.
because in his head, he's like, I'm good at math. I invent shit. I- He's got my DNA. He's got to be smart.
And the
Right.
same, and then I just surrendered to the fact that my child, I had him in two. At one point, I had him with two tutors,
Oh, yeah.
twice a week, like two different tutors, and then it all normalized. The right teaching style came along, and the teacher was like, "Do you know how good your son is at math?" And I was like,
Wow.
waiting to hear that. Thank you so much. Love that.
Hmm.
Thank you. So it's,
And
oh my God, like
yeah.
it's we all that, without getting into the profession of teaching, but the work is hopefully one day will become about, no matter how many are in front of you, and hopefully they'll stop putting more than 25 in front of any one teacher, but it's about each child, and
Mm.
that, yes, a teacher in a room can meet the needs of 25 different children, but it takes, like when I gave you, Sam, the prayer, I'm willing to see this differently. It takes seeing it all very differently than the way we see it today, because we have the capacity to do that. We all within us have the capacity to meet the needs of multiple children in a room, even if they're all individualized, which they are. But we have to be willing to believe that and agree with
Oh,
that.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, excuse
That's
me,
why
y'all.
I'm
There's
I'm
Yeah.
lots
I'm
of
fighting.
oranges and cayenne.
Uh, that's why I'm fighting for, my kids' education, and with a divorce going on, for her to get therapy. Well, shit, I'm gonna need some therapy. But so she has, what she needs in order to function and have a successful, healthy, happy, successful life, to make it through. I mean, because you know, my mom, especially, I love my mom to death, and rest her soul. But she didn't get the help she needed with the stuff that she had issues with, and it only got worse. And when you're in
Mm.
adulthood, there's a lot of shit you can't. If you can't read, woo! But guess what? You could die. You don't
Yeah.
know. You don't know what that sign says, and you're gonna still cross the street. Oh, guess what? You could die. Right? The bleach
Yeah.
bottle says don't drink. It don't say drink. It's crazy, man. It's a lot of that stuff that people I think honestly don't think that far in advance and don't realize the issues that they're helping their kids to have without giving them the extra help they need or the extra attention. Because I can't imagine like any class that's 25, 30, 35 kids, however many kids, and I feel bad for the teacher because that's a lot of kids.
Yes.
Also underpaid.
Social.
Oh yeah,
Underprepared.
extremely underpaid. To have to deal with multiple kids, and you don't know which kids are crazy. You got
Not
no
just
idea.
Not just that, and that's like almost my beef with the education system is that it's not a one. Here is the one curriculum to fit all different 25 different people, or even like 10, 15 people. Everyone is different in the way they learn, and I
Yeah.
think that should be the way teachers to be taught to teach
Yes.
different teaching techniques for different. The final exam system is fucking dumb from the Middle Ages. Who remembers any exam from 2001? Like when my first year in college, like who would? It's all
Nobody.
useless information. Oh, hi, I'm here. I have a bachelor's degree. What did I retain from the bachelor's degree? The certificate that proves that I did it. Because even if you ask me, I'll be like, I can't even remember that I went to college and got a degree. That's really the big part. And the other part is that now society is all, what's your education? Oh, education. We're all in student debt. And then 2 years into any career, you don't even talk about your college anymore. It's useless.
Only
about
the
your career.
annoying people
What's your
do.
experience?
Yeah, the debt is a motherfucker, man. I feel for anybody that's got any kind of debt like that. You should not have to carry that around while you're still not hired in the profession you went to school for. That's just insane to me. I mean, like, why is it society? I mean, I get why it's the wrong kind of capitalism for damn sure. But back in the day, what is it, 40s and 50s? You didn't have to pay for no damn school. You didn't have to pay, not at all, man.
And there's education inflation now, and it's
You
happening
know?
here in this
Oh
country
yeah.
too.
And
Like
then you got
everyone in Egypt, if you don't know your name, instead of calling you dude, I'll just immediately assume that you're an engineer. Easiest thing to do. Hi, what's up? We have like this Turkish phrase that we've inherited, Bash Muhandis. Bash Muhandis, you can tell anybody in the streets, Bash Muhandis, and they're like, who? Hi, me? Okay, great. So that's to the point now that in order for you to stand out, you need to start by having masters. And now, and that was back in 2012. Now people don't even look at people with masters. Yeah, join the club. Do you have a doctor's degree in something? That's really and it's happening here too. I think like who cares what degree you have?
At that point, they might as well be like, how much debt you got?
Yeah,
200K?
yeah.
Oh, I could beat that. I got 3K, man. 300K, man. What's up?
It's so crazy because going into school, I going in was a good student. And after I got to the point where they actually started teaching you stuff, like school wasn't just graham crackers and applesauce, my development went down. And I will tell you, like, I was a straight A student, went to college, graduated summa cum laude.
Oh,
and the only thing I learned from school was how to pray, because I never understood any of it. But my mom used to teach me about manifestation. And so what I would do is they would teach me the stuff. I would be utterly clueless. I would go to bed at night and I would go, okay, angels, there's nothing new under the sun. Whoever created algebra, please help me understand it. And then I would just go to sleep and I would understand it when I woke up. And like to this day, like I used to get straight A's. Like it would always work. And like even as a working person, I still do that shit. Like I don't have the time, no. I just be like, Akashic Records, angels and guides, I need you to do my work because I'm stuck. So the only thing I learned was how to pray. Like I didn't learn shit and I didn't remember shit. Like the masters came in, they was like, okay, Victoria, download. And then it was like, you ain't gonna need this shit anyway. Thanks for calling. Deuces.
I love that. That's the best.
Teach us how to do taxes. Teach us how to handle insurance. Teach us the difference between collateral insurance and collision insurance. Teach us
Right.
the stock psychology,
How to
social.
bank, bro. How to write a check. Well, you can now you don't write checks anymore as much.
Sure.
Right? How to bank, how to
How to
drive,
use
how to
the app.
sew.
How to-
We got motherfuckers don't know how to cook an egg. Don't know how to cook
How
an
to
egg.
retire with a $30,000 a year income, because people do it. You know, those Dave Ramsey people do it. But I feel like, you know, everybody's not going to have a 6-figure and up income. Like, I think it's also really good education to teach kids, like, you don't have to be rich and you could still be set for life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a
Um,
lot of that stuff. Like they didn't even my brother had the hardest time managing his money in banking. Like there's just certain like the fact that they don't teach kids how to save, how to invest, and just different things, right? You know, what to wear to a job interview. There's just different sets of skills. Like I remember I had a gardening, and I know people would laugh at that, but shit, dude, I'll tell you what, you give me some manure, I go buy some seeds, I can make some shit grow.
Mm.
I know
love that.
exactly how to do it.
because they
know?
to me they skip over that while you can't teach motivation, if you teach someone the skills and something becomes accessible, motivation will grow. But when
Oh, yeah,
things
life skills.
feel inaccessible, it's hard. Like, and honestly, when I tutor, like, especially my math students, like I have a student that I started with on Monday, and a lot of times, I honestly, my work, even in math classrooms when I was in full-time classrooms, is just to make this accessible, because a lot of students have confidence even if they don't know how to do something. And what I began to see was that if I can make it clear to you that you have access to this too, the same way that you love hip hop music or gaming or whatever, that this is easy also. I learned so you can't if you tell somebody it's easy, they're very resistant to that. But I learned to show people that you have access, and as soon as something feels accessible, then everybody can do it. And then even if you can't do it, you're not afraid to even to go figure it out. And as soon as you get started figuring, you will figure it out. But I learned that the back door to really helping students who have difficulty with anything is to demonstrate at every turn that this is accessible for you. Like if you don't feel like you can access it that way, then I'll show you how to go in through the door this way. Oh, that not that way either. Okay. And I just keep going because there is a door for everyone.
Oh yes.
You just have to help. You have to show everybody their door. And as soon as you show somebody their door, you won't be able to stop them. But it's about, that's what I figured out as a teacher, because I know how easy it is for me, but me telling you how, and even though whether you think I'm smart or not, I know that this is easy. But when I tell people that people become automatically resistant. But when I show you that there's a door that you can come through, and I don't stop until we find your door, then you're fine after that. And I find that to be true with no matter what level of difficulty a student is having with anything.
Oh yeah, you got to find what technique works best for you, because there's bound to be something.
There is.
Yeah, you know, when I took that horticulture class, I remember going in being an angry, stupid teenager. I hate, where do I gotta shovel shit? You know, oh man, where did this come from? And then the guy's like, oh, it's free. It came from the racetrack. Fuck, that smells like shit. It was a lot of shit, right? And you know, but I learned so much, you know. And later on, I appreciated it because I got to help my mom garden and all this stuff, and I knew all these different things, right? You know, if you can't get your hands on manure, how can you make soil more rich? Banana peels, you know, fish waste. Like, let's say you ate a fish, you still got the bones and the head still on there with the eyes. You can take that in a banana peel and put that in the ground with the dirt, put the seeds and water that shit, and you're gonna have a really healthy ass damn plant.
Wow.
Yes.
You know, but that's just, you know, orange peels. There's just certain things that are biodegradable that you learn, And certain things, how to water, how much sunshine is too much. Oh yeah, all different kinds of things. But these are life skills. Like, my daughter asked me the other day, Daddy, can you teach me how to meditate? So I'm working on teaching her how to meditate.
Wow.
And
Nice.
then she's like, I need to learn how to cook too. I'm like, oh, don't, I got you, baby girl. My mom that's the one thing I'll say about my mom. If there's anything I can say that was awesome, was like when she was cooking, if you came in the kitchen and you had questions and you wanted to learn, oh man, you want to learn. So I know how to cook like crazy. I can cook things that I think are kind of nuts, really, because my dad don't know how to cook.
Yeah.
He only knows one recipe, legitimate, and I ain't trying to make fun of him, but okay, maybe I kind of am. He only knows beef stroganoff. That's it.
Pretty good though.
Dude can't boil an egg though. He can't boil an egg.
But that's really my point. Like, to move from information-based education to skill-based education, because skills, you remember, I took when I was doing like theater class here, they made you take a workshop class. Like, to this day, I'm not working on sets, but I'm still like, oh yeah, let's wear this protective wear before we use the drill on this weird wooden board, because it might get in our eyes. Like, some safety stuff that I learned from it. You keep that for life. What was electromagnetics 1 about? No idea. How was that different from electromagnetics 2? I took like 3 electromagnetics classes. No idea.
Oh yeah.
Kyle,
sorry, do you want to read it?
No, I was going to say, Kyle says, what parent doesn't teach their kid money management and investment strategy? Isn't that parenting 101? Kyle, parents only give what they have. And if parents don't have it, they don't give it to kids. And not only am I a benefactor of the non-teaching, but I've taught a ton of children, and that's not, and I've taught children from all cultures. So don't let the beautiful brown fool you. I've taught all types of children. Children
I think
have
Kyle
whatever their
was.
children given. Yeah.
I think Kyle was either being sarcastic or he was raised in Wall Street.
I love that you raised the question, Kyle, and I love that you'll be able to teach yours that. But
if you have those life skills, man, do it. That's what I gotta say. Because
parents teach what they have, and that's from the intangibles like hope and accountability down to everything else, and including that.
Oh yeah, no, I've had to teach my daughter, a lot of things. One of them also being that no matter how angry Daddy gets or how frustrated I get, at the end of the day, that I always love you, and whatever it is that you have to share with me, no matter what, I still want to know. I don't care whether it makes me happy, sad, in between, or mad. Like, just don't hide anything. Just tell me. I'd rather know and be able to be there, even if I don't have to say anything, just to be there, than to not know and shit go on behind my back. No thanks. No thanks. Because my grandpa, I love my grandpa. He passed away, my Japanese grandpa, but all the grandkids wouldn't tell him shit because they were so scared of his ass. They were so scared, and he was brutal. So people, I remember him complaining, none of you grandkids tell me shit, and we're just like, well, he's like, why do you think that is? I'm like, because you're pretty scary. We're terrified. And people that old who've been through a lot, the certain views they have are old and should not be said aloud. They're not proper. They get you beat up, so he had a lot of views that, why don't you bring your girlfriends around here? Why do you think, bro? You racist, you a little racist there, man. You a little snappy. Took this photo, what was it, a Japanese restaurant? We're in a line. I still got to write a joke about this. And he yells out, Jap this, Jap that. I'm serious, man. And there's Japanese people everywhere. The table will be 40 minutes, Mr. Hozaki. Fucking Japs. So we're just sitting there. Oh, shit. I don't want anyone, if you have anybody who has kids, I'm applying it to myself too. Yeah, you should make your kids feel comfortable to be able to talk to you about anything, because if not, they're going to talk to somebody who might give them the worst advice. And that could be rob a liquor store, take these drugs right here, It could be anything crazy, right?
Yeah.
You know, you just don't.
And
You don't
also,
know.
way more is caught than taught anyway. And so
Hmm.
if you are, you have to be the example that you want. And if you're not, then you also have to be self-aware enough. Um, you have to be self-aware enough to be ready to break cycles. Because I feel like that. Because what I will say to your point, though, Kyle, I realize that I'm not doing a great job of breaking the cycle that I came up through. And I see
Yeah.
you not trying to be an asshole. I wasn't taught these things growing up, but I
No.
educate my
No,
daughter
no,
about
no.
them.
You're
So
cool, man. You're cool.
No,
yeah.
you're also a great
we
parent.
get
Like
it. We get it. Yeah, we get
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But
we want more
you
parents like you. That's really the point that we're trying to make here.
Mhm.
Is
right.
Oh yes.
I need insurance class. I need somebody to teach me these things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Invest in
Kyle, your
And I like
ass is whole. Everything is secure. We love it. And you are not an asshole. You are
I
just,
love you, Kyle. Keep
That's
yeah.
right.
making kids and teaching them important things.
Oh no,
but
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
but when you ask the question,
Kids had to
Kyle,
merge.
you know the answer. And so many parents do want to break the cycle, but they just, I promise you, they
Either
don't know how. And
don't know
I
how,
mean, I think
or
we are more than grateful for a time that anybody who wants to know anything can find it out at any age and at any stage. And it does not in any way relinquish parents from responsibility. But boy, what a little Wikipedia, what a little anything might have been different,
oh,
in the 70s or the 80s,
oh yeah, that would
desktop
change a
computers.
lot of
You
things.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everybody won't ask, but again, access. But the world is very different because there are generation after generation now that know that they have all the access in the world, and that's going to make a difference.
Oh yeah,
And again, though,
information
I
is
stress
power.
it doesn't relinquish any of us from responsibility, but we have to be. And also in some cases when we're parenting, we're breaking cycles in other ways, and you can't, it's not even always able to get to everything. Like some of the cycles that I feel like I've broken from that which I was raised with, it took all I had to get that stuff done, and I'm still seeing where there's more that I wanted to do different and better, but he's 19, so we still have time. And
Oh
and
yeah,
thank you for your question, because it just reminds me of these Capital One savings accounts that I intended for us to start when he graduated last year. So
yeah.
And
Hey
at the end
man,
of the day, if you're a parent and you don't know about finances, you didn't know about it growing up, and like Kyle said, if you're not wise enough to teach your kids how to do money management, your broke ass gonna be eating cat food when you turn 80. At the end of the day, you got to coach your kids on how to be rich because they're gonna have to take care of you. So I think that's the best advice ever. Like, teach your kids what to financially do, because you may have given your every last dime to raise them. And so, let them give you the she, retirement home money.
that's right.
Let's
That's
not
right.
let you be staying in the back room that smell like pork and beans. My mom always tells me, she's like, Victoria, when I get old and I can't take care of myself, are y'all gonna take care of me? And I'm like, why do you keep planning to be old and can't take care of yourself? Exercise or die young. Like, what is this whole goal to be old and like dilapidated? Like, do something about it. You ain't even gotta get old, mom. Like, I don't know what we gonna do. You gonna see.
Everybody needs a polite person to wipe their ass, right? I mean, come on.
I mean, at
doesn't
the
want
end of the
that?
day, I'm
Please
going
bend
out
over, sir.
blazing. I am going out I feel like euthanasia will be available by the time I get old enough. As soon as
Don't push
I
the
feel
button,
like I've
Mom.
seen all I need to see, I'm gonna be like, all right, guys, I'm making my appointment.
You're like,
Deuces.
I'm leaving Earth
they
in 2
are
weeks.
doing that somewhere in the world. There's somewhere in the world
Push the
that they're
button.
doing
Push
that.
the
That they
button.
have I can't think of where it is, but I saw a piece. They're doing that where you can go and have a polite, you can
Yep.
you can do that.
In
Come back
Washington
week.
State, if you're terminal and within your 6 month and you go through all of they also allow it in Washington State if you are a resident. So you got to really plan it out. So we're getting there. But yeah, like I just don't know why people think it's a goal to like just get like live so long, fall apart, be like literally medically animated. Like if you don't take your 35 pills every day, your heart will stop.
You
Like
will
you're not
cease
even
to be.
alive. Like you're literally just medically reanimated. And
Just
then
like
you can't do anything
head.
for yourself. Why is that a goal?
People love life. People are so self-centered and they want to live forever. That's like our entire space program is basically us trying to defy death. It's like, okay, let's take this. What if this race dies? Let's go to other places and make sure that there is. But you're right. Euthanasia is gonna be pretty much legal and very popular because we're the last generation to die, and they're gonna be like, okay, let them die, so that we can fix the other one with microchips and stuff like that, and like put them in new softwares. But these ones, just let them die. Yeah, you can kill yourself. Go ahead. Yeah, bye. That's really what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm
haven't
all for
watched
it, 'cause I'm not trying to live through climate change. I'm really not just trying. I'm just trying not to be inconvenienced. Like I really don't think, like when the party is over, like you got to know when to leave.
You know what? You can let my body go frail, okay? All I'm asking is you reanimate my head and use it as a paperweight. That's all I want. I just want to see some shit, right? Like
That's it.
Have y'all
that's
seen,
what I want.
fuck it. Just carry my
Has
head
anybody
everywhere.
has anybody seen Swan Song with Mahershala Ali on Apple TV?
I
No.
don't think I've seen that
Because
one. I've seen the
that's
trailers,
what it's about. He's terminally ill, and they have a clone that can take over before he dies and
Oh.
continue his life. And I mean, I haven't watched it because I can't. Well, I won't say I can't. Y'all know I like happy. I don't like sad. But it,
Yeah.
but it grapples with the questions, and it does exactly that. Like there's Cloris Leachman, I think Cloris Leachman,
Ooh, great.
or Glenn Close. I can't, like I'm seeing
Ooh.
maybe Glenn Close. Is they're there, and he has to, if he decides he's going to do it, there's a certain point where they have to make the switch, and so he
Okay.
does. I mean, I just saw the trailers and I've watched it right now. I just binge watched all of season 1 and season 2 of Ted Lasso. So of course, whenever you watch anything on Apple TV, then you see the other Apple TV things, and so that's something. And so it grapples with exactly what we're talking about. Someone who is specifically dying, and and has an opportunity to. And I think his wife is like, it's one of those. It's a movie, so she's either got a new baby or baby's on the way, and this is obviously not an opportune time for this to be happening to him. So this is the fix. If anybody, so it does grapple with the question. Like I said, it looks so dramatic, so awesome, but yet so sad. So
You
As
brought up a
usual,
TV
Dina
show. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
As usual, Dana
my,
had a
my
very
favorite TV show
educated
right now.
source.
Okay, the two I'm on real quick. The Book of Boba Fett. Oh baby,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a Star Wars nerd. Woo! And I finished season 4 of Cobra Kai.
Oh,
Nice. Sam, what did you say? You said something before Book of Boba Fett. You
Oh,
leaned in.
I was gonna say that as usual, Dana has a very educated source to her information. Mine comes from an episode of Death, Sex, and Robots.
Yes,
It's the great one.
that's a
where
good one.
There were people who were really like, there was a pill that makes you live forever, but you don't have kids. And then the other ones wanted to, like, there was a part of society that was living underneath that immortal society who just refused. They were having kids illegally, hiding them, and like raising the kids quickly before they die. And the other ones were living forever. And it's just like, really, that was going to happen. It's, I also like, there was this another thing about when the time comes and people get to the point that you're talking about, people are upgrading themselves to be immortal. Some, like everything else in life that you're seeing, like the vaccine, some are like, oh no, we're not going to do this. We want to die. And there will be this fight. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And on that note, Betty White passed away.
Oh my God.
You're like, huh?
more power to her.
Oh
she
yeah.
missed. She came out. She saw that the shit was sinking like a fucking cement turd, I guess. And she just was like, forget this. I don't need an extra 17, 20, or however many days to see where this is going. Holla. And I'm going to die on December 31st just because y'all told me not to die in 2021. Because I've been nice all my life and I've been America's sweetheart. And this is my last fuck you.
There you go.
That's interesting. I miss her and I was extremely sad, and I'm still feeling some kind of way. And I get it though. Whenever a soul is ready to go, a soul is ready to go. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was
I
it?
hated
January 17th, she was going to be 100 years
100
old.
year.
That's and she's lived a very amazing life and very very courageous person. I'm learning some stuff about her that I just thought was just amazing, that I never knew.
Right.
I mean,
But
watch
I
it
believe
forever.
in longevity. I have an aunt that lived to be 103. She died in 16. My great grandfather lived to be 107. So
Wow.
I think and I was 10 when he died. So I think that set it was a long time before I knew people didn't live to be 100. Like, because I was little when the person I knew, and everybody, so many of our family members, if they didn't make it to 100, they came awful, close. And so it was a lot when I was middle school, high school. I started learning that life expectancy is so much shorter than that, or whatever. So
Oh yeah.
there's always, the kid is always alive. So I just like to see people, if they can make it. We love to. There isn't, other than the body itself, there's no reason for us to really physically die, except that just the body says I'm tired, and eventually, but and just stops one day. But there isn't a old age doesn't kill us. There are just circumstances that have been with you for an amount of time that will that can shorten whatever your years are.
Oh yeah, your heart's like, I need a break forever.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
Not 20 minutes, not 20 minutes. Forever.
We've done this long enough.
Oh yeah, time to go sleep. You're like, fuck. Also, Sam, you had an interesting topic as well.
Ooh, how much time do we have?
Yeah, we could do it. We could do it. If it runs just a tad over, it's okay.
So in the before my mom came here time, which was only 7 days ago, but it's so long. I think I was going to the Improv one day on a Sunday. It was like we were hanging out with a friend, and then we had the mic there. We said to do one mic, and then by the end of it, I was going home, and I was just crossing the street to go pee before I drive all the way back to Northridge. And I just decided to sit for the mic. And midway through the mic, we're sitting, and they're like, and so, like, I don't know if you guys been to the Improv mic. It's another regular Improv mic night. And then, like, they go on stage, the host goes on stage and says, like, okay, coming up to the stage right now, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Chappelle. And I look around, and I'm like, oh, this is definitely a joke. But
joking.
Sunday just like pops up. I was like, oh, they're making a joke to another comic. And like there was a big lull. Then like this smoky cap wearing person walked on stage.
Yeah.
That was Dave Chappelle.
Wow.
3 hours later, we left.
I didn't say shit.
Huh?
I'm being perfectly good right now. But wow, Sam, that's amazing.
3 hours.
That is 3 hours. Nice.
And typical.
It's, I mean,
do your 5 and listen to everybody else giving tips. Like
I would
he made
love
jokes
that.
about it. He made jokes about it. Like he was like, yeah, you guys should not be like sitting here. I basically fucked you all by taking your time. And like he it turned into a Q&A. Like it was, and like open micers asking Dave Chappelle comedy questions.
Yeah.
That was a big part of it.
Wow.
And like, of course, the trans stuff came by nature of he brought it up, and by the nature
He brought it up.
I mean, it's just like
Again?
it's a joke. But it's a joke. It's just like the same joke of like, yeah, I'm in trouble right now because of this. So it's like it's not like he didn't say anything. Like he didn't say anything that was not said in the special. Nothing. That's not the point, really. Like my point.
I know. I'm trying to be good, Sam. I'm done talking for the rest of the podcast. Go.
I am talking for the entire podcast.
Please,
and I love it.
Tell us.
I want to hear
Tell us
more.
more, because like
I want to hear
when
more.
he's coming, the Netflix Comedy Festival, the tickets to see him are bananas. All the way to the back of the Hollywood Bowl, they're like 200, and I'm just like, I can't do it. So I'm living vicariously through you right now.
Here, like again, the content of what he said through the 3 hours that came out that is non-comedy related, the open micers questions, Q&A part that was happening, that was like anything that came out of this that's related to the controversy around him. Nothing new was said there. But I sat there seeing like all of the misunderstanding of trans culture and blah blah blah, and like, oh, what should we call this and what should we call that, and all I can think about is like, whatever all the other diverse groups that came out, rightfully, we're not saying that should not be here. Everyone that came here should be here. But in a way, they did to Dave Chappelle, they did to black people what Comedy Central did to Dave Chappelle's show, which is, oh, this is what sketch comedy looks like. When the Chappelle show came out, oh, this is what sketch comedy looks like. Somebody comes on stage, they say blah, 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 they play a sketch, blah, blah, blah. And after Dave Chappelle, for a while, that was what we thought what all of the sketch shows were. They almost followed that format. And he was talking about how he invented that format for comedy in general. And what all of his beef with whatever groups he's having problems with is basically because Dave Chappelle made a show, made a stand-up special and got his show back. But there are no amount of stand-up shows that Dave Chappelle can do that can get black people their things back. It's done. It's out there. It's everyone is using almost what the method that they saw successful, which was the black experience in America, and they applied the same. Every little group now comes out. Left people. I'm lefty. Don't call
like,
me
and it's not
southpaw.
almost. It is exactly.
That's
so powerful.
our N word. Every group has that sentence on their word. It's and the irony of this, in the middle of all of this, somebody was like, I have this friend somewhere, blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to tell him the story about some other guy who said the N-word. Can I say the N-word? It's almost within the same, say what you say about Dave Chappelle. We'll call it ignorance. It's almost within the same ignorance that other people are still approaching black subject. It's almost Dave Chappelle approaching other subject. He's upset about it, which is weird. I always felt like, why can't you see that it's almost the same thing? It's just people don't know. You should know. You should know too. And I
get what you're saying.
The room's opinion on this.
I think, as usual, it's ridiculous that somebody still is asking, "Can I say the N-word?" just because somebody else said it in the story. Like I feel like what confounds me is my grandmother would say, "Confound." Like, that's the kind of shit that confounds me. Like, you just heard. Like, what did you hear? What was your fucking takeaway? If no other, because clearly you don't have the mechanism to capture anything much bigger than a thimble. If you are, after all of that, and I wasn't there, but because I'm of that generation and I'm older than Dave, I know exactly. I stand exactly where he stands on that. Like, but it sucks because the capacity of that thimble size capacity of that person represents more people than I can even process that it represents, especially given our prior conversation about, access to information, access to all the things. But for the most part, I mean, just without having heard it directly from myself and having heard, you share this momentous, awesome, what I think is a momentous, awesome thing. Like, I mean, I just still stand with Dave. Like, I get it, because certainly as a Black person in America, it's just what it is. Like, we created a blueprint, and everyone who deserves to be recognized and honored for whatever community and whatever walk they are walking has a blueprint for getting it done. And because of how a lot of those communities were built or have been built or what they're based in, they're able to move and glide and have voting blocks and vote and do all the things without the levels of generational, emotional, spiritual, mental, financial baggage and all of the things that, to me, that help you be able to say, I'm going to run to the polls and support this thing. But when you have not the level of disenfranchisement and dispossession for a lot of minority groups, whether immigrant to this country or whether we're talking LGBTQIA plus community, the level of dispossession, disenfranchisement, and oppression there's a relationship between the capacity and ability to band together and make the game, to use a template and a blueprint and make the games for the people who created the blueprint. There's the level of, again, generation after generation after generation of dispossession, disenfranchisement, oppression, all the things, just the fracturing, the killing, all of it. There are plenty of us who are trying to pull the Black community together, but there are just so many generations of hurt. And that's the easiest, smallest word I can use, that we're trying to overcome. And so somebody like me, who has been on the side of protesting voter education and all of it, like since my college days and since my high school days, there is only so much that, I mean, what is it? There's only so much that I and anybody like me can do, or similar minded to me can do. And then the other part is then the discipline to wait and to let it breathe. And for those whom I couldn't personally reach, to trust that they will get it, and that this day, these multiple days of overcoming continue to happen and will continue to happen. So I'm excited about the conversation that you guys got to hear.
I'm just happy that there's conversation about it. Be it that it may not be the right conversations sometimes that happen. My sister, though, I would say this kind of pertains to that. She's going to be a school counselor, and she had to sit in to get training, and she got to work with different counselors and notice the amount of discrimination and heartlessness that the trans community is dealing with, even in high school. And she was telling me how much, a lot of the counselors she worked with had a lack of compassion for their situations and, what's going on, and really made her emotional on the phone. And she said, this is one of the reasons I want to be a counselor, so that way I can help these kids. And so they can feel, like there's hope, that they're welcomed, and that they are, that their lives matter, and, that they are good enough to be here, And so she was just telling me, she's like, I really need to work hard when I get in there to help try to change the system and to change people's minds, because a lot of these counselors are not helping the situation with the transgender kids in high school, because the suicide rate is really high. And, due to misinformation, due to people really closing a blind eye, or just listening to information from other people without even looking up stuff for themselves. A lot of these kids are being neglected and mistreated, and just really horrendous, horrible stuff she was telling me. And, it's experiences like that people share with us that a lot of people need more of, so we can open up not just our heart, but our minds to do our best to understand a lot of the things that are going on. Or at least to have some form of empathy. I think that's a lot of the reason why we have a lot of problems in society too. Is a lot of people don't have a lot of empathy or compassion for other people, and the things that they're going through. With that said, though, I that's where that's where I don't know, man, because everybody's life sensitivity, or the things that they've been through, are so different. It's so different. And I'm not going to try to defend Dave. My thing is more along fighting with comedy itself, or just entertainment itself. It's just, and I'm not, I want to get this out there too. I'm not saying that I'm okay with a lot of the stuff that was done in the past. There's things that were done in the past, but I can't change the past as far as comedy is concerned. That, today, obviously, people wouldn't get away with. We know that, but we can't change that. It is what it is. But I think all entertainment to me now is scary. Not scary because I'm scared. I'm scared because now that we have internet and all these other things, and I love that everybody has a voice. I love that everybody has an opinion. I just wish they had a more empathetic opinion. But then on the other side of that too, I think that when it comes to a lot of entertainment, it really that's hard, right? Because there's an audience for everything. And, you know, at what point do we, I don't know, man. That's the hardest thing for me. That's the hardest thing, right? Because no matter what you say, depending on well, I mean, maybe it's how you say it too, obviously, but you know, it can come off insensitive. It really can, you know, and you know, it's like one of my buddies. Oh, you like that comedian from back in the '80s? He's such a what's the word? I forget, man. I hear it all the time too. I hear it all the time. But you know, I'm not going to defend an old comedian that had beliefs back then that obviously now society and the way of thinking has changed. That doesn't mean I can't watch it and then kind of laugh, but I'm not laughing because I support his views. There you go. See, that's what I'm trying to get across. I can go to a comedy show and laugh at someone's point of view, but that doesn't mean that I agree with them. I'm on the same bus with them. You know, that's how I feel.
Yeah,
you know,
that was
I don't know.
what it's supposed to be. These are supposed to be jokes. I'm getting some flank, whatever the word is, about like one of my January 6 jokes, and like you can't explain to people. Even if I put it in writing, it's not going to make any difference because people are already coming in charged. You saying that, hey, if my mom was here, she would have been a Trump supporter, and like totally. I don't fault people for making choices, and whatever you think Dave Chappelle's crime is, I don't see that he did anything wrong. He did not hurt anyone. I'm sorry. I have such a weird.
Everybody's entitled to how they feel their opinion. Of
He
course.
said it. We had the freedom of speech thing that we wanted to have. That I was dreaming of having, living in a country that had one day. He said it. Okay, here is the counter information. You guys could also hear this, and here is our point of view. And it should have been handled in an educational way, not in a death threaty, cancelly way.
No. I hear what you're saying. You know what it is too is, I don't know, man. It's hard. It's really hard. I will say this though, and I know we gotta go, but I will say this. It's really hard to separate entertainment from feelings. It's really, really hard. You know what I mean? And so just certain things, man, that just kind of, you know, blow my mind. But I also understand, again, we have to be empathetic, we have to be compassionate. But I also feel like I don't know, maybe this is a bad analogy, man. I'm gonna apologize up front.
We're gonna edit this later.
Yeah, you know, there's certain things that just aren't for everybody, and I think accepting that is hard. But I also, this is where it's, again, this is more of like a kind of, I don't want to just say it's a Buddhist point of view, but it's more of a philosophical point of view, and it's a hard one, but I feel it kind of has to be this way. I feel that we have to separate certain things from certain things, and then kind of look at it one way and look at it another way. But, and this is the big one. And this is the one I think where you just got to hope you never become famous. Never become famous. Ever. Never wish to be famous. Why? Because your words will be counted so powerful that you cannot speak freely. And the moment you speak freely, everyone is going to hate you that's on another side that doesn't agree with you. Because having an opinion and speaking freely is dangerous. But I also agree, on the other hand, too, though, if you don't understand that your voice and that your voice has power and it has energy and it has influence, then you could be hurting people indirectly without even realizing it. See, but to find that balance is almost
how many hands you got,
possible.
Stephen? How many
hands
you got? How many hands you got?
You know, that's all I'm saying. To find the balance,
the Krishna of this analogy.
Hard. I just think shoot to not be famous and speak your mind, because the moment you become a powerful person, you cannot speak freely anymore, whether you're right or wrong. And that's not in defense of anybody, because I know there's a lot of people going to say crazy shit. I don't believe in, or I'm not for it.
I was saying from Trump on down, like the desire to not be famous. I don't, I hear you. I hear what you're trying to say. I just
Because
think
if not, dude, like every word is gonna be, it can be used against you like a knife, But I'm not. See, that's the thing too. I'm not trying to just defend him. I do believe that we do have to take responsibility for what we say and how it does influence others. And I'm on that boat too. That's the thing. My boat is like
you got several boats. You got several boats, buddy.
and it's a
Several
complex
boats.
thing, but I understand that
Ferris
humans
wheel.
yeah, humans are complex that way, but we do.
It's a small
think,
world. That's what you are.
Yeah. But we could all use more empathy and compassion and understanding for other people, and I think we would have a lot less issues. And I think there's got to be some way. I don't know how, because I ain't gonna pretend I have all the answers. I definitely don't. But there's got to be some way to separate entertainment from actual life. There has to be. I hope there is a path or a way to do that.
You actually said the most important thing, more important than everything else that you're putting forth. We don't have a society. No. We don't have this country, and this goes back to what Victoria said earlier about what America is in this country in particular, because I'd have to go to Egypt, to London, to Ghana, to Switzerland to even see if this is even a conversation, or Canada, hell, this is a conversation. But in this country where these things take on so much power and take on make such a big conversation, we don't live in a country that has built a society that prioritizes what needs to be prioritized, such that when Dave Chappelle, or any of them for that matter, a Trump who won't ask the Proud Boys to stop, like it's all of them in the same category. There are not enough individuals in this American human society who are clear about how to think for themselves and how to think from a heart-centered, compassionate, even a reasonably not neutral is not the word I'm looking for, but a philosophical good sense place. Do you know what I'm saying? So more important than whether somebody wants to become famous or not become famous, or more importantly than whether we have to decide what entertainment is or what it's not, and how to step, like, the onus is not around the world, I don't think, on the person who has the opinion and the freedom of speech. The onus to me becomes on society, but in this country in particular, that is not what we have made a priority of how people in general are taught, which means that how parents are teaching children. We had a big conversation earlier about what school is. Everybody, if you guys don't know, and I know how smart you all are, but you probably do know, in this country there wasn't a need for public education until there was the Industrial Revolution. There were factories, and it still wasn't because they cared about an educated society. What they cared about was people not losing fingers in a factory because they couldn't read. Ultimately, we live in a country that prioritizes capitalism even above democracy in a way that it then breeds. It seeds, breeds, and blossoms a type of thinking for which we then get mad at a Dave Chappelle for what he said, when we've created all of that.
Exactly.
And so we can't keep trying to, and I even though I love Dave Chappelle, he doesn't need me to defend him. We can't keep trying to like chop off the head of the snake thinking that will kill all snakes. That's not how that's gonna ever work. But in this country, we are very entertained and committed to the level of insanity to keep doing that and to keep standing up on things and barking about it. And so, I think one of the blessings for me about being a comic, being a chess teacher, being a teacher, being a spiritual teacher, being a person, is that I think differently, and that I can only do what I am planted to do, which is to help people see this differently. Going back to the prayer that we talked about earlier, I'm willing to see this differently. And because what I would always teach my students alongside chess is, and again from the Course in Miracles, your willingness is everything. Because what I'm trying to do is plant enough seeds that you can blossom in a direction of sunlight on your own, without me having to hold your hand the rest of the way, that you will begin to see because when you're willing and when you're willing to see things differently, compassion will have its way. Love will actually have its way, but that's not, unfortunately, the country that we built or that we live in.
Yeah. But the one thing that the
Hold on,
Dave
Sam.
Chappelle's-
Hold on, Sam. Did you say? I saw you lean in at some point. Did you want to
No.
interject?
I said exactly. You at some point you just made the exact point of like, this is the product of the country, society. Like it's not.
Mhm.
And to circle back to everything else, it's all about education. Back to you, Steph.
Oh no, yeah. All I was saying was the thing that Chappelle's trans friend was telling him at one point. I don't know if you guys seen the whole thing, but was see me, right?
Mhm.
And when I hear that, that's exactly what everybody in society wants, is for people to see them and recognize their humanity. And I think that's extremely, extremely important. And that's all I want to say about that. Is it's very important to respect
I just wanna,
and recognize
to
other
say
people's
one last
humanity. They
thing.
want to know and be treated like people, like human beings.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Victoria,
Yeah.
what do you have to say about this?
I have no energy for David Chappelle. Only energy I have is for him to win, be successful, have a happy family life. Like, I literally haven't even thought about this thing
Sorry.
until it got brought up again. But I'm happy for you, Sam, that you got to have such a wonderful surprise of Dave Chappelle at your open mic, and you got valuable information that was meaningful to you. But like, I got nothing for Dave Chappelle, and I'm really trying to like understand, like, it is about energy, and just because you don't agree with something doesn't mean you need to fight against it. Sometimes it's just better to leave that shit on the table and wish them well. I got no energy for Dave Chappelle except that he wins. But if he came to the open mic and I was there, I would get up and leave, because I would expect him to take up all of the time and to make himself more important than everybody. And for me, it just wouldn't be my experience, but I would love it for everybody else that got gifted. So yeah, it's just not my cup of tea, but I want that man to win. And I'm happy for you, like, on the real, for real. And
Me too.
I'm just glad you was in the right place at the right time.
Right time.
Love opening
Amen.
for him.
Amen. Amen.
What you say, Sam?
I'm not opening for him.
I mean, not yet. Not yet.
Like,
I
oh,
will
are
open
you
for anybody. I don't
Yeah.
Daddy got to eat. Daddy got to eat. Just let me open up for somebody. On that note, does anybody have any shows or anything going on? Anything anybody want to promote?
No, I'm staying in for COVID. Like, F this. I just took a COVID test before class because my allergies acting up. 70 something degrees for 2 days in LA. I don't even know how, but my shit is twisted because I went to 7-Eleven. And I am COVID free and glad about it. Love to everybody. I'm in the house. I did a Zoom open mic. I might continue forward on Zoom.
We are Zoom.
Yeah.
I'm at Flappers Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm at let me see, Flappers Tuesday and Wednesday. And this month, which I think we'll have an episode before, I'm at Dow on the 22nd, and I'm back at Dow on the 30th. So just follow me on Instagram, y'all, because now I have to admit, all the water and things that I've drank today are like, that's why I'm squirreling in the seat, because it's time for me to go deal with that.
Oh yes.
And to do what Victoria just did, go take this test and make sure I'm all right.
Okay. Sam, what you got going on?
I have you can catch me at the maternal show that is happening because my mom is here until the end of the month. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do in the middle, but if there are shows, I'll put them on Instagram. But right now, I'm doing...
Mom. Hey, Mom!
I'm trying to be a good son. Never works.
Hey, Mom.
Myself, I'm just trying to get through this divorce alive.
You got it. You will survive, Stefan.
Done.
February 1st,
you
we
will
get my own
survive.
place, and I will be starting back up doing open mics and shows very soon. Other than that, thank you guys for stopping in and hanging out with us. We really greatly appreciate it. We love and appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and we'll see you the Thursday after next.
Thank you, Kyle.